The first human who ever felt real fear had no door to lock, no light to turn on, no phone to call for help, just the dark and a sound getting closer. This is that story. Act 1, the fear that built you. Right now, somewhere in the world, someone is lying awake at 2 a.m. They heard something downstairs. Their heart is pounding, their body is frozen, and every part of them is screaming. Something is wrong. That feeling, the racing heart, the held breath, the way your ears suddenly hear everything, is not a malfunction. It's not anxiety. It's not overreacting. It's a system built 300,000 years ago, a system that kept your ancestors alive long enough to have you. And tonight, that same system is still running, exactly as designed. Act 2. When the dark was real, for most of human history, night wasn't peaceful. It wasn't quiet time. It wasn't rest. Night was the most dangerous part of every single day because humans could barely see in the dark, but the things hunting them could see perfectly. Cave lions hunted at night. Hyenas hunted in packs at night. Leopards, silent, patient, almost invisible, hunted at night. And early humans sat in small groups, around small fires, listening. Because listening was all they had. Every sound mattered. A branch snapping wasn't just a sound, it was information. Something is out there. Something is moving. Something might be coming closer. The humans who reacted to that sound, who froze, who listened, who felt that spike of fear, survived. The humans who didn't react, who stayed relaxed, who ignored the sound, often didn't survive long enough to have children, which means every person alive today is descended from people who were good at being afraid. Fear isn't weakness. Fear is inheritance. Act 3. The fear that makes no sense today. Here's something strange. The things that scare you most aren't always the things that can actually hurt you. Modern humans are statistically more likely to die from a car accident than from a snake. But show someone a snake, and their heart rate spikes instantly. Show them a car, nothing happens. Why? Because your fear system wasn't built for cars. It was built for snakes, for spiders, for sudden movement in tall grass, for the dark, for heights, for the sound of something large moving nearby. These fears are called evolutionary fears, and researchers have found they appear in humans before any bad experience ever happens. Babies, months old, show fear responses to snakes and spiders faster than they respond to anything else. Nobody taught them that. Nobody needs to. Because somewhere in your DNA is a memory. Not a memory of an event. A memory of every ancestor who didn't react fast enough and didn't get the chance to pass anything down. The group was the shield. Here's something that completely changes how we think about ancient fear. Humans weren't designed to handle fear alone. In a group of 20 to 50 people, fear was shared. If one person heard something, everyone reacted. Eyes opened, bodies tensed. The group became alert together. This wasn't chaos. This was defense. More eyes meant more chances to spot danger. More ears meant more chances to hear it coming. And here's the part that matters most: being part of a group physically reduced fear. Researchers studying stress hormones have found that cortisol, the fear chemical, drops significantly when humans are near people they trust. This isn't psychological, it's biological. Your nervous system calms down when you're not alone, which means for 300,000 years, the opposite of fear wasn't bravery. The opposite of fear was company. A human alone in the dark was in danger. A human surrounded by their group, even in the same dark, felt safer. Same darkness, same predators, completely different. Here's where ancient fear changed everything. Because fear wasn't just felt, it was shared. Around fires, at night, when the group was most vulnerable, people talked. And what did they talk about? What was dangerous? Where it was dangerous? What sounds meant danger? What shapes in the dark meant run? These conversations were the first stories ever told, not entertainment, survival information wrapped in narrative, so it would be remembered. So it would be remembered. A child who heard a story about a predator near the river was a child who avoided that river at night. A child who didn't hear that story sometimes didn't get a second warning. This is why, even now, scary stories captivate us. Why horror movies fill theaters. Why children ask for one more scary story, even as they hide under blankets. Because somewhere in your brain, fear and story were never separate things. Fear was the lesson, story was how it survived, long enough to teach the next generation. Closing, the final reflection. Tonight, when you turn off the lights and the house makes a sound, it always makes, but somehow sounds different, and your heart speeds up for just a second. Before you remember, it's just the house. That second, that brief, irrational, completely involuntary second of fear, is not new. It is not broken. It is not something to fix. It is the oldest part of you. The same system that kept a human alive beside a small fire 300,000 years ago, listening to the dark, is still running, right now, inside you. It doesn't know the predators are gone. It doesn't know the world has changed. It only knows one thing: stay alert, stay alive, and maybe that's not something to be ashamed of.